You are listening to the one and only Teej here on Bearcast, coming to you live from the Jack and Jones Stratus Studio, part of the Electronic Media Division at CCM. That being said, as promised, we have the weird news to follow, and I shall go backwards into my normal voice, and we'll just get things started, right? This first story is coming to you from Italy, where we have firefighters a little bit concerned for a woman's safety when she came in and asked them to remove a chastity belt that she could not get removed around her waist. She said that she was wearing the device, of course, voluntarily, and so the whole bit of panic right there got, brought down a little bit. But the 60-year-old woman told the fire crews of the northern city of Padua, I think that's how it's pronounced, that she needed help opening the padlock that was keeping the device tightly around her waist. Now, as you're imagining, like, what the hell was this lady up to? That sort of bit right there. She was actually worried about the incidents of sexual violence in the area that she saw on the news, and so was taking precautionary measures. Unfortunately, she lost the key at some point and that sort of bit, and so she did have to get the fire crews out. I wouldn't know, frankly, who to call in that sort of scenario if that were to happen, though. I would imagine... I would think about calling a locksmith first, I would imagine, that sort of bit. Firefighter crew, I would not think to be the first on my list. I think that would be very uncomfortable, too. She came into the station and, kind of like, showing, can you help me out, that sort of bit. Which I think is the best measure to be taken. We've left the name, of course, of this woman out to promote the privacy of her, of course, but, freak incident. You think your mornings are bad, sometimes it's that extra mile. It's like that guy who had his car hit, you wake up to that one morning, ugh, that's a really suckish day. You see incidents like that, and you think, things aren't so bad, I suppose. Right? Speaking of things that aren't so bad, this one is actually as bad as it imagines, and I would love to get this onto the Facebook page, but as I mentioned earlier, I can't access that right now, and it really sucks because this commercial is totally worth viewing. We've talked about, the awful sex toy commercials that they throw out there and how they like to be sleek and subtle, and, that you're really not even sure what the hell that they're advertising half the time. It's like, okay, you're promoting a good feeling, or what, huh? What is she? Oh, okay. I see what you're doing. Hey. And on primetime TV, too. Good on you. No, they're usually really, really terrible. Like, regardless on what you try to do, they're almost always terrible. I don't know how you're supposed to publicly promote something like that in a way that doesn't sound childish, I suppose. Childish, or, you go on that line of creepiness. Creepiness I'm thinking of is that, remember that, can I say cock ring on the radio? Because I don't know what else to call it. Penis ring, vibrator, personal massager. Okay, we got that. My bad. No, so the personal massager is directly advertised for bankers. I thought that was very, very peculiar, A little bit creepy, too. It's like they had their own little club because they got a little money clip to go along with the personal massager. That's a little bit weird in my mind, but, to each their own. So, what I'm referring to, of course, is Japanese television, because it is the weirdest television out there. I really can't... I watch media from all over, and Japan, it really makes it difficult for me to sit through it. It's just so strange at times. Well, we got this, It's a condom advert, I suppose. It's really unclear, and again, I still don't speak Japanese. I can't certainly read it either, so it makes things a little bit difficult. But we got it's starting out with two Tyrannosaurus Rexes, these mighty creatures. They're roaring, and the music being played up, and it all sounds cool and everything. And then you kind of pan out and you see what they're actually doing, which is just going from behind in that sort of sense, and. I don't know, biologically, I'm not sure how dinosaurs had sex. Terry, do you have any idea how dinosaurs have sex? No? Oh, this could be an educational opportunity. I'm not trying to be crass or anything like that. I'm being serious. Do you know how dinosaurs had sex? No. Okay, well, they weren't, the feathered dinosaurs as we know them to be, somewhat accurate. But, they were the green T-Rexes going at it, that sort of bit right there. And then, I suppose they finished that sort of thing, and then the female T-Rex, she was all pissed off because it was over too quick and that sort of thing. And I guess the whole idea behind these things is that they're just trying to make sure that everyone who has seen this commercial certainly remembers it, because the condom manufacturer, Akamoto, surveyed 400 men and women last December asking if they saw the last advert for condoms. Only 12% could remember seeing one in the past month. And so I guess that really would determine like how many people are accessing the kind of media that this is being presented on. As well as, I think it's pretty obvious that if you've seen that commercial, if you've seen that advert, you probably remember it. It was pretty shocking. I'm sure that you can find that in a simple Google search if you look up condoms, T-Rex, intimate, I don't know. Use your own little bit of crass humor at the end of that. I can't tell you anything specifically, but I can suggest that you try to use your own imagination, and that's better than anything else in the world. And I guess on the whole sexual topic and everything like that, we got an awesome thing going on in Evansville, Indiana, and I really like this guy. He's so chill. There was an interview with him, and if you want to, you can pull up the interview. His name is Quan Dixon, and he owns and operates Pop's Popcorn and Coosier Daddy's Food Cart. And he also happens to sell sex toys along with the food. And apparently, it's a pretty hot item at this food stand. Which I think, hey, it's a one-stop shopping sort of place right there. It's a convenience store. That's convenient. If people are looking for a certain product, it's right there on the ready, on the go, and you can get a hot dog with it. That is convenient. Quan said, though, to WFIE TV that sex sells. We all love it. We all love it more than we actually show it. Sex is and then when asked if sex was selling in Enville, he said, yeah, more peace, more kids, more peace. It'll settle everybody down. And, then you have the sex toy there, and then afterwards, you can eat something because you stopped at the same place. I think that's just convenient right there. And obviously we're not looking at actual figures or anything, but apparently they are coming off the shelf pretty well. I mean, like, it's keeping them in business, that sort of thing. Now, it gets a little bit tragic and sad because, as I have mentioned, this wonderful business venture that a man has absolutely succeeded in, the story that WFIE reported on got the interest of a couple of local detectives who went and shut down the sex toy food truck because of out-of-date city permits. And it seems that in those permits, Dixon never mentioned that he was selling sex toys. Which, I gotta wonder, do you need a permit? Do you need a license to sell sex toys? And can I get one of those? Not for, actually vending. I would just like my ID, to kind of show that I have a license to sell sex toys. Be an ordained minister, get a college degree, get a permit to sell sex toys. It's all part of, a wonderful resume that you can pull together with your portfolio and really, impress your future employers right there. Definitely. I think it's just being, versatile in this ever-changing market. And that's you adapting to it. Oh, boy. So, he didn't have permission to sell the sex toys, and that's what they're kind of getting at now. And so he updated his Facebook. I guess this is how we're reporting on things now. Quan updated his Facebook saying that he's got the new the permit, and he's sorry for selling the sex toys and that sort of thing, but he really shouldn't be bashed for that. And he makes a quite elegant speech about it. I got it right here. He says, "I'm legal. Here's the proof. Sorry for the toys, but don't bash me for that. We have liquor stores still around schools. Where's the news on that? We have crack pipes next to the fried chicken at gas stores. Where's the news on that?" I think he brings up a pretty good point right there. I mean, food and sex, I don't recommend mixing the two right there, but if you want to, you should have the right, shouldn't you? And if we're gonna, do, I think both of the examples that Quan listed right there are way worse than selling sex toys with hot dogs. In fact, in a somewhat weird kind of way, they're both a little phallic typically, and it just works. Think about it, will you? Unless you're underage, in which case you should really be in bed. Alright, so moving on to this next weird story. There's no real transition for this, and there's no real explanation for this person's behavior, honestly. We got 24-year-old Timothy Alejandro Ortiz, and he was fired from his job at Burger King. He was fired, and as you can imagine, he was a little bit upset. So how does he deal with this? How does he deal with his anger for losing his job? He sets ablaze his hat and uniform on the grill, which apparently is supposed to be returned to the company at the end of his employment. That being said, though, while the attire burned on the oven, Ortiz gotten several arguments with the managers and customers, and eventually the sheriff was called. And by that point, by the time that the police arrived, Ortiz had finally, left and gotten out of there. But they tracked him down to his home, where he finally surrendered after being evading a tase stun. And, kind of wrestling with the cops a little bit. He was charged for damage to property, resisting an officer without violence, and disorderly conduct. Oh, that really sucks, but that's part of the problem of having, anger problems right there, which I would imagine is kind of like what you do in that scenario. And I don't think that that's overstating anything. You get fired, that sucks, I understand. You turn around and light things on fire and start screaming at people. Well, that's when people start asking whether or not you have previous psychotic episodes like that, and consequently, maybe you need to be hospitalized. I'm not saying that it's happened to me, I'm saying that it happens. That was a bad joke. I'm sorry for that. Keep on going on. We'll just keep on moving on right there. Going to Tesco, right? So we're going across the pond over to England once again. We have Catherine Knights, who is from Cornwall, and she bought a King Edward's potato sack from her local supermarket. And it was a bargain. It was a bargain. You know when you find things at a supermarket and it's just like, I don't know why this is marked down like this right now, but I want this. This is amazing. This is awesome. I'm going to have to take the deal. That sort of bit right there. So it was reduced not once, but twice, right? Twice marked down. I start to wonder, though. Things been twice marked down. What's wrong with it? What's been going on? You can start asking questions. I remember when I worked at Kroger, we had, the clearance section, that sort of thing. We had a whole bunch of condoms that were marked down, and me and a couple of employees, we were just standing around looking at it, and we're like, I don't think that this is worth it. Like, I'm okay with paying full price in that sort of sense. You don't want to have to... You don't want budget condoms. That's just a bad idea. That's a bad idea waiting to happen right there. But that being said, twice reduced potatoes right here. Now, from what I understand, there's quite a lengthy process that goes through getting the potatoes from the garden to your home. They have to be harvested, they got to be washed, they got to be bagged, and then they got to be shipped, and then the supermarket has to put it on the shelf, that sort of thing. So we're talking about a large amount of a number of individuals touching these potatoes, and not in that gross kind of way, but I'm sure they wash their hands. You should wash your potatoes, though. That's a very important thing. And I hear that organic potatoes are a lot better because it does soak up a lot of that nutrients and that pesticides. So, fun fact for you there, at least. That being said, though, once again, a lot of people touching these potatoes. So, when Catherine Knights looked into the sack potatoes and found a giant brick lingering about, just huddled up against the rest of the potatoes, she was really puzzled, and I would be too. I know you find, like, quality control errors and that sort of bit right there, but really, a whole brick? It wasn't like no tiny thing either. It was a big, heavy brick sitting around in this potato bag. People had to come by in the supermarket alone twice to mark this pile down, and they never really noticed that there was a giant brick hanging about in there. I mean, to be fair, Catherine Knight didn't either when she purchased the bag, but still, that is absolutely absurd. It's got to be the size of my arm or something like that. It's a huge brick. It's really hard to miss. That sort of bit right there. And Tesco, of course, responded and said he would expect a certain amount of checks to go through. No, I'm sorry. The fact that somebody has actually picked it up. Okay, I missed it. I'm sorry. I just ruined that right there. Tesco responded, and they said, we apologize, this, that, and the other, this will be fixed. I mean, this kind of stuff does happen, though, quality control, there's a room for error, that sort of thing. But again, just way too many people passing up these potatoes right now. I can't imagine that this was, it's probably gonna come back to bite me in some way, but I could totally see me just passing that up, wanting somebody else to notice that, in the same condition that I did. It's too amazing, it's too perfect. Just leave it there and see if somebody notices. Eventually someone will, right? So the bag of potatoes with the brick have been asked to be returned to the store for a refund. That sort of bit right there. And they're going to figure out how this happened in the first place. So awesome. I guess we're on the topic of food, so I'll go with this next one right here, which, I don't know about you, but this sounds delicious, and it's really easy to make. And again, I would have posted this video onto the Facebook page, but I can't get that. I'm going to try to get this all on there at some point, though. If not tonight, tomorrow. Be checking it out. That's the Teej page, T-E-E-J. In case you didn't know that. Please like it. It helps me get in contact with you. Lets me know what you're looking for. And helps me to get a good picture on what I need to do to prepare for our evenings together. That being said, though, this amazing idea is called the pizza waffle. I know. I just said 2 awesome things in a row, and it was great. Right? Love it. No, the pizza waffle is exactly what it sounds like. And I'm not trying to sell you on this. You should make an actual waffle with this. No, you use pizza dough instead. Really, really easy, though. Really simple. What you do is you throw the dough onto the waffle iron after you, grease it up because you don't want it to stick. Then you cover that bit of pizza dough, with your marinara sauce, your cheese, your toppings, and maybe some Parmesan on the top. Really make it fancy. Put a little bit more sauce on there, and then cover it with another bit of dough, right? So you got about 2 circles of dough, and in the middle, you got a whole bunch of awesome stuff. That's when you bring down the waffle iron. You see where I'm going with this? Now, there's going to be a little bit of extra dough on the sides. You cut that off, make it look pretty and everything, but you let that cook. You pull it out. You got like this waffle calzone thing that just looks amazing, and I'm going to have to try this out. I don't have a waffle iron at the moment, but I'm sure I could find one for cheap, and you should be able to. I'll see you at Salvation Army tomorrow. We'll be looking out for those. Oh, boy. No, I do like waffles, too, but this just sounds awesome right there. And, it's that perfect thing that where you're able to, dunk it probably really well, too. Crisp up the sides there, and then you got the holes of the waffle. Get some more marinara sauce and really give it a spin. It looks a little weird, I will give you that, but honestly, it just sounds like an amazing idea, and I'm getting hungry just thinking about it, honestly. I might have to make a pizza tonight. Yeah. I know it's not good to, eat really late at night like that, but yeah, I'll probably go home, make a pizza, and then go to bed. Be 4 a.m. I can do that. It's a weeknight. It's good. It's Thursday night. How are you doing? Good? That's great to hear, honestly. Kicking off your weekend right by listening to some more weird news. Oh, this one's a little bit of a sad state of affairs, but I don't know. This guy kind of had it coming to him, and I don't like to use that phrasing too often. Justin Caola, he purchased 8 golden rings. Yeah, no, 5 gold rings. No, 8 gold shiny rings from a police auction for about 700 quid, right? And he really thought he was getting a deal right here. Holy crap, how is this cheap? I am going to be bidding. I'm putting my life savings onto these gold rings right here. And you know how they always say, they have those adverts out there. Gold prices have never been higher. It's going out there. And there's that weird woman in the infomercial, and she goes, invest in gold. And SNL did a great mockery of that, but I don't know. You'd have to be there to see it. Well, actually, that just goes to... I gotta stop saying stupid things like that. Alright, but we got social worker Mr. Caola spent a whole bunch of money on these rings. They were advertised as having a, quote, yellow metal finish, and the markings were unverified from the auction house website. All this information is provided and that sort of thing, but he really thinks that he's getting a good deal. So he takes these rings to multiple pawnbrokers, and they all confirm the same fact. That while the 8 rings had 18-karat gold markings on them, they were in fact made from cheap brass and were virtually worthless. Which is not something that you want to hear about something that you've put your life savings into. So, he's going around these different pawnbrokers trying to figure out what the hell to do. Will somebody take these? Will somebody take these? And here's the funniest part. The irony, the icing on the cake, the punchline right here is that all these pawnbrokers were suggesting that Mr. Caola here would go to the police for help in this matter. Well, that would be great, except the police were the ones that sold him these in the first place. One of those police auction houses right there. You get seized property, and then they try to sell it off and, usually goes to charity or, help out the police academy or something like that. Some sort of, they make some sort of event out of it. There's some sort of charity involved, and so that's all good and well, but this guy really got screwed in the matter. And the worst part is, they aren't planning on giving him a refund. He spent all of his money on these cheap-ass rings, which, let's be honest here, if you're gonna make that kind of decision, you better be damn sure. You shouldn't get some little crappy little description on a website. You need to be damn sure on that kind of thing right there. So they're not gonna give him a refund, but it really does bring up a good point on, if this was done on eBay, or like something like Gumtree or, anything like that, there would be an issue. There'd be big trouble. There'd be repercussions for this kind of thing. And again, unfortunately, Mr. Gala did think that this was a reputable source. It was the police after all. I've been told to leave out any comments right now, so we're going to go ahead and do that. But that being said, though, it's a really crummy situation that he's gotten himself into, and sorry. I don't know what to do in that kind of situation right there. Like, you're going to have to find some way to weasel yourself out of this, because, again, it was just about everything he had saved up. I'm sorry for that, man. That sounds really terrible. Oh, boy. Got one little last bit that I wanted to share with you here, and probably kick it back into some music. Still got some more things to talk about. Been trying to teach myself how to do some new things on the computer, so I'd like to share that with you. And Terry's got some ideas, too, that really great. So, lastly, I wanted to leave you with this awesome restaurant. It's a noodle bar, right? You can go and get some Japanese noodles, and what they've done for this to make it so awesome, and they have a picture of the interior of this place, is that the inside looks like the outside. Through some marvel of artistic endeavors, they have created a restaurant where on the inside it looks like you're eating on like a Korean street or something like that. It's so cool. It's so well done, and the walls look worn, naturally and that sort of bit. It's a really neat idea. I'm sorry, it's Japan, not Korea. My bad. But that being said, though, I just love little ideas like that, little creative bits, something to add to you right there. It's in Los Angeles, so I don't believe that any of us will get there anytime soon, but that being said, if you like that idea at least, I'm sure you'd be able to borrow a similar concept and that sort of thing right there. I don't think that counts as a themed restaurant particularly, but I mean, again, just a really cool idea. That does remind us all, I'm imagined, of Night at the Roxbury, where they're trying to make that club, and they're like, oh yeah, no, the inside looks like the outside, and the outside's the inside, and I haven't watched that movie in forever. Chris Kattan and Will Ferrell doing their weird little sketch right there for an entire movie. And I remember the first time that I watched it, I was awfully young, but I had a sore neck the next morning, just from doing that little head bob that they love to do. You better know what I'm talking about. Honestly, I don't believe you for a second when you say that you don't, because it was just one of those movies to watch. Maybe you're a little young. Maybe that's the case. That's a terrifying thought. Is that seriously the case? Like, people don't know what Night at the Roxbury is anymore? That's the movie. That's the thing. I don't know. That was like childhood for the most part. And frankly, I guess I'm a little young to be able to say that myself. But, it's that kind of weird bit about me, I suppose. I don't know. What do you want to listen to? We got an idea about that at least. I think I got an idea here at least. Something good, something a little bit different. Shake things up. I'll be back with more weird stories for you in a little bit. But in the meantime, let's check out some Dirty Harry.